Okay. All right. So now we're recording. Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our annual scholarship event of the Alberto Institute, the Alberto Italian Studies Institute. So nice to see you. This is going to be an experiment. So I need you guys to turn off your Catherine Brown, do you have, oh no, you have it off. Okay, so I'm gonna, I really need to ask you to keep your microphone off on the bottom left of the screen. Okay. My name is Gabriella Romani. For those who don't know me, I direct the Alberto Institute and I am a professor of Italian. Welcome, welcome everyone to this unusual annual scholarship event. We usually do it in the back rooms and in the Chancellor's Suite. Unfortunately, this year we cannot, but we can still see each other. We can still celebrate as students. We can still greet our donors and also our faculty. I see students here, which is wonderful. I also want to acknowledge that our Provost, Dr. Passerini, and the Dean of the School of Arts and Science are here. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Passerini in a second. But before we do that, I want to announce some of our upcoming events. We have, if this is going to work out well for us with these virtual meetings, so we're going to have 3 events in the fall semester. 2 of them in collaboration with the Catholic Studies program and the Art Histories program. The idea is we cannot go to Rome this year. Well, we'll bring Rome to you. So on October 8th, we have our first lecture from Rome at the Raphael exhibit at the Museum of the Scuderie del Quirinale. And the title is Raphael, let me read it well, I don't want to mess it up here. Raphael, an eternal artist in the eternal city. And the second one is October 22nd on a lecture by Martina Gatti, who will speak about Michelangelo and the secrets of the Sistine Chapel. And then last but not least, on October 22nd, we have our beloved concert, the yearly concert that we usually have at the SOPAC. Don't worry, it will still be at the SOPAC, except it will be streamed live and we're not going to be able to be there, but we'll be able to listen to it. And it will be a selection of Italian areas, opera areas, with Maestro Tram as usual, and I know they're going to be professional singers that we usually have. I'm hesitant to say that it's going to be a choir of students because I don't know, probably not, given the circumstances. But what I love about the concert that has become a tradition every November, December, and we usually draw a lot of people, students, donors, faculty, members of the wider community, is that we really bring together all our constituencies. Students who sing in the choir, who are in the audience, faculty members who are in the audience, professional singers, opera professional singers who sang in New York, and then they come and sing in our staged operas. And it's really wonderful. So I hope you're going to be there also for the 22nd. Barbara will send us the announcements and the links and everything. And hopefully it will work out. But now let me introduce our new provost, Dr. Passerini. And as myself, an Italian woman from Rome, I'm very, very pleased to introduce you another Italian woman from Rome. And it's a real pleasure and honor to have her with us tonight. So please, Dr. Passerini, I'm going to pass the microphone to you and turn mine off.
Thank you, Gabriella. Can you hear me okay? Yes, fantastic. Well, thank you for the invitation. This is exciting. This is a great event and an opportunity for me to meet you, but also to thank you for your great generosity, the students for the great commitment and interest in Italian studies. But to many of you tonight, really, for making this program possible, the faculty and the benefactors. And I'd like to acknowledge also, as Gabriella did, Dean Shoemaker is here. And I think I've seen somewhere the Senior Associate Provost, Joan is also here. And she leads our Office of International Programs. So she's very involved with many of the activities that you sponsor and get us involved with. So first, I would like to recognize the benefactors, Joe and Dina Lamotta, Charlie and Joan Alberto, and Sal Valente. I know that we have the Valente Italian Library, and because we are in a COVID time, I haven't had the pleasure to visit yet, but that's next on my schedule. But I want to share that actually I met the Lamotta chair, the current Lamotta chair, William Colnell, even before coming to Seton Hall. We met at a conference in Cork, Ireland, where he was presenting a phenomenal study. And I was really fascinated. Ended up buying one of his books. And now I'm fortunate because Gabriella gave me some of her books. So I have had plenty of opportunities to really read things that are important to me. So thank you for making this possible with your vision. And really enabling also our faculty to organize these events. And thank you also for the scholarships for the students. I will share with you in a second after I talk a little bit about the scholarship, why this is so important. The ability that you give the students to study Italian studies and to go to Italy to learn more about the culture, it's phenomenal. And that's possible because of your generosity. I know that we started just 13 years ago with scholarship of 22,000 awarded to Italian studies students and only 3 endowed scholarships. And I think today, this year, what we're celebrating today is us awarding $36,500 in scholarships to 12 students who are here. Through 6 scholarships that are now endowed. And I know that this number would have been even higher if we had carried our normal study abroad courses that we had to cancel because of COVID. So this is difficult, but as Gabriella said, we'll find other ways to go to Rome. And so we'll start virtually. We'll start with the Raffaello, Michelangelo, and other exhibit. But hopefully we will be able to continue this travel to Rome soon. So my colleagues who are here who know me, John Getty and Peter, know that I am a fan of international education and continuing and actually enhancing study abroad programs like the ones that you support. They're phenomenal and they're formative. And I think that we need to just do more. One thing that I'd like to share with you tonight is a personal story. So the students here today, they're at the beginning of their journey. So I know that there is a lot to discover about Italy. But I did a journey similar to the ones that they're doing just a couple of years ago. And I was, I've been in the US now for over maybe 24 years. And I got to the point where Dante Alighieri, if you remember the Divine Comedy, there is a section that says, nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita, mi incamminai in una selva oscura. So it's Dante saying, you know, in the middle of my life journey. So a couple of years ago, I was about to reach the middle of my life journey. And I decided to do something similar to the study abroad trip that I see are organized through the Italian Studies program. I decided to go to a program that was sponsored by the Calandra Institute, which is in one of the CUNY schools. That was actually a journey to Italy to study the Italian-American immigration and understand the flow of immigration from Italy to the United States and all the issues connected to these journeys. And it was a phenomenal program sponsored by donations and sponsors like the many that are here today. I was sponsored by the NIAF, the National Italian American Foundation. And it was a journey into culture, literature, sociology, history, movie, all mixed together. We had 3 weeks, wonderful professor from all over the United States explaining what the Italian-American journey was and helping us to rediscover our identity. And I really loved that journey because it was an opportunity to really feel the culture as you were studying through so many different perspectives. But I felt there was something missing in the journey, which I would like to maybe suggest is an area of future exploration as we think about Italian studies. Everything that I learned about was about culture, music, arts. And even before, Gabriella, you mentioned the exhibit of Raffaello, Michelangelo concerts, which is what Italy, I understand it's known for, but there is also a tradition of Italy, which is technical, which is innovation and discovery, which is manufacturing. I know some of our donors tonight actually have had founded their own manufacturing, startups here in the US. There is so much about the technical tradition of Italian history that sometimes we overlook. You think about Leonardo, you think about the paintings most of the times, but Leonardo was also the scientist. And I think there is one student, Michael Brown. Michael, you mentioned you're in Milan now, so you know what I talk about when I talk about the technology and the innovation that goes on in Italy. Politecnico di Milano, Politecnico di Torino, Bocconi, an incredible Italian tradition of innovation and discovery and technology that I think we are a little less known for. So one thing that I'd like to do tonight is encourage us to explore as we continue the Italian studies, also those aspects of the Italian culture that, I think they're so important to also to share and to continue to celebrate. I thank you for the opportunity to provide our students with these experiences. And in my own position, of course, you will know that I will do my best not only to support the Italian studies programs, but also to support internationalization and additional study abroad programs at the university. Maybe this is not the right time, but I know that we will be soon again in a condition to be able to do those experiences all over again. So thank you, and I look forward to celebrating with you tonight.
Thank you very much, Dr. Passerini. You find an open door here. Italy brings so much, not only in artistic and historic patrimony, but also in innovation, design, agro, gastronomic innovations. I mean, there is so much that we would be very happy to open, to invite people who would like to talk from Italy or from the United States, any part of the world, about some of these innovations. And hopefully soon we'll be able to resume a normal calendar of events here on campus. But in the meantime, we are connected here virtually, which I think is wonderful, by the way, because this really gives us an opportunity to see people that otherwise would not be able to see in person. While we wait for my colleague Bill Connell to join us, so should be momentarily, and since we have someone who is in Italy,
Gabriella is in the next screen.
Oh, I didn't see him. Hello, Bill. Okay, sorry, I didn't see you. So let me pass the microphone then to my colleague Bill, who will briefly talk about the Alberto Institute. He was the founder in 2003. I came in 2007. So Bill has all the secrets that he will share with us about the Institute. Go ahead, Bill.
I'll speak briefly. Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you, Dr. Passerini, for your very warm remarks. Thanks to our dean, Dr. Shoemaker, for joining us, Dr. Getty. And it's really wonderful to see old faces from courses and years. Like,
I can't.
can you hear me? Yes. It's wonderful to to see old faces like Anthony DiFlorio and Michael Brown, whom you'll be hearing from in a minute. Just to say that the Institute was founded in 2004. Alumnus Charlie Alberto and his wife Joan saw the need for an umbrella institute to manage our multiple scholarships and our initiatives throughout the university in Italian studies, and they really made it possible for us to bring together our scholarship, our library, our initiatives out in the community, and it's made Seton Hall a special place, recognized, I think, throughout the country and also in Europe for our Italian studies, which we see as crucial and an important cornerstone part of a liberal education. I have to thank Dr. Romani for doing a wonderful job of directing the Institute for now almost 15 years. And we need to, she's puzzled, but yes. And also our wonderful secretary, Barbara Ritchie, who's here with us too. I'll leave it at that and turn things. Now it's to Gabriela, is that correct?
Okay, well, thank you, Bill. There wouldn't be no Italian studies without Bill Connell at Seton Hall. So we're also very grateful also for his collegiality. Bill is a very special and rare colleague, and we're very happy and we really appreciate him. Besides being an extraordinary scholar who is read and respected all over the world. But we have invited tonight 3 of our alumni, and I'm going to introduce them now. We love to hear your stories. These are 3 brilliant students who studied Italian, some as a minor, some as a co-major, another one as a major, and who made that into a career, or shaped at least the career that they continued afterwards. So I'm gonna first of all introduce Michael, who is in Italy, who is connected from Italy, as I say, and he says, oh, midnight is nothing here. People don't go to bed until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. We're used to that. But I know that you work and you work hard, so I don't wanna keep you too much, Michael. But Michael Brown is one wonderful students, and also I'm so happy that that these students keep in touch and keep me updated on their wonderful achievements. Michael Brown graduated in 2013 with a BS in Diplomacy and International Relations. His secondary major was Modern Languages with a concentration in Italian and Mandarin Chinese. And I remember back then, Michael, you spoke Chinese pretty well, Italian very well. Now he even speaks it with a Milanese accent. I'm not sure I'm too happy about the Milanese, but his Italian is spotless. He then, after graduating, spent a year in Milan through a program that we're affiliated with, where American students are paid intern in high schools in Italy. In this case, was in Milan for Michael. He was an assistant to the English teacher. So he perfected his Italian, and then he got a job. He worked at the Expo, talking about innovations. Michael worked for the Expo in 2015, and then got a job for Theory, which is a contemporary high-end American fashion company. And you'll tell us more, Michael. And please, your microphone, it's all yours.
Buonasera a tutti, saluti da Milano. And first of all, I really would like to thank Dr. Romani and the rest of the faculty for this opportunity to be able to be here and speak with you and tell my story. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. And one memory that I remember from Seton Hall, this just really my first Italian class as a freshman with Dr. Romani. And I'll never forget, after the class, you came up to me and you were like, who are you? You wanted to know my story. And this is one of the best, Seton Hall for me was a place where you really felt like the professors wanted to get to know you. They wanted to know your story. They wanted to help you, and they wanted to provide opportunities for you. And I feel like that's actually the reason why I've always found myself first, okay, teaching English with the SITE program, then coming back for Expo, then doing the master's program. I feel like there was always an opportunity because, you know, ever since starting at Seton Hall, just really having that relationship with the professors and feeling like the faculty wants to follow you and know your interests. And I feel like that was really one, I still remember my first day of Italian class, and that memory stuck with me even after, that was in 2010. So after this time, I still remember it. And you know, that was definitely one of my highlights. And then the study abroad in Rome really was another reason that seeing the world, using the language, you know, in daily life, practicing it outside of the classroom. And then also, I remember I had the opportunity to go to the IFAD and learn about their scholarship, their internship programs. And that was another highlight because just another door that was opening for me, even though I never participated in it. Just always, you know, I feel like at Seton Hall, there were always opportunities, you know, with the Italian studies and all these programs and study abroad. And even though now, of course, unfortunately, we'll have, you know, we can't go to Rome, but bring Rome to Seton Hall, I feel like there were always several opportunities. And, you know, my coursework, apart from really perfecting and studying like the Italian language and culture, I feel like I really developed really strong soft skills and key competencies that have actually been crucial for me for when I worked at Expo, and also now where I'm working in for theory. So I do wholesale, managing the Southern Europe market. So Italy, which is actually the primary market for Europe. So I meet with all these different boutiques that sell this brand, and I have to learn how to negotiate. I have to know the business culture. I have to understand not just, okay, I'm selling a product. I have to understand their mentality, how they work, and to be able to present the product in a way that, of course, will appeal to them and their client base. So I feel like for me, apart from, you know, the coursework at Seton Hall, learning the language and the culture and having a lot of these classes, but I really, you know, the flexibility, the critical thinking, versatility, learning how to act in situations where maybe you feel uncomfortable or you have to be able to adapt, dealing with people that have complete different, you know, mindset as you, cultural background as you. So I feel like these skills I really developed as well at Seton Hall, and they have been crucial ever since I have been going back and forth since graduation in 2013. And, you know, and for Expo, I actually will share a very, you know, a story that I'm very proud of. And I'm also, I think it's a win for Seton Hall because I actually was not eligible to apply for the Expo because I had already graduated 2 years prior, and you had to either be currently enrolled or a recent graduate of like 6 months or so to be able to apply. But I felt that my coursework and all my experience that I had made me a very strong candidate. And so I reached out to them and I applied anyway. And I wasn't accepted only just for the first half because there were 2 groups of student ambassadors that were selected throughout the world. You just had to be an American citizen enrolled. So there were students really coming from all over. It was really an amazing experience. And they selected 60 students to do the first 3 months and then 60 students to do the last 3 months. And not only was I hired for the first 3 months, but they flew me back to do the last 3 months. I was the only one. So the Seton Hall, I was working with students from Princeton, from all these prestigious universities, and they called me and they paid for my flight to go back. And that experience really was incredible. And I feel like at Seton Hall, I was always pushed to always, you know, I was motivated. And, you know, I feel like that was one thing that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. And I applied and they took me for the whole time. And it was just an incredible experience, really, you know, getting to tell the story about the innovations for the food security, what we were doing in America. I had the opportunity to speak with Michelle Obama when she came. I also was, we were responsible for giving tours to all of our sponsors. I met the president of Boeing Italia, and I toured him. I toured the wife of the former Prime Minister Matteo. They chose me to tour her as well. So there were a lot of, foreign dignitaries, and we as student ambassadors were the face of the expo. So, I mean, I was selected for some of the really, some of the high profile tours. I mean, it was probably one of the most stressful experiences of my life because, these companies that invested lots of money, because we were the only pavilion that was not funded by the government. In fact, a lot of other pavilions wanted this as like a come visit our country as like a tourist, but we were the only ones that were not funded by the government. We had private funding. So a lot of these companies that were provided us with everything, and so we had to show what we were doing, how we were marketing their products. And so that was definitely quite an experience. And it was the first time I had to really use Italian in a professional setting. And so I feel like really I was always pushed from Seton Hall to go for it. And even though I wasn't eligible, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for it anyway. I feel like my coursework was strong. And there you go. Not just 3 months, but the whole, the whole expo. And it just has been a continuation since then. While I was touring around, I met someone who works at Università Cattolica, which is where I ended up studying my master's program in luxury goods management. And then from there, I did my internship with Theory, where I am now. And even though I don't have the Italian citizenship, had to be sponsored. So for them, this was a cost that most companies, for example, most of my classmates in the masters went home because, if you don't already have a strong knowledge of the language and culture, it was very difficult to get hired in Milan. And I feel like I was really lucky because even though I did not have the citizenship and it was an extra cost, the fact that I was a native English speaker that also understood the business culture, spoke the language, and that just was something that for them was indispensable. And they kept me for 3 years. And I feel like this is also the same for any sector you want to go into. If you have these skills, you can learn the daily tasks of a job, but you can't teach someone how to interact. You can't teach someone, these soft skills. And I feel like that I developed from Seton Hall and on. And actually, I'm in about 2 weeks, if everything goes according to plan, I'm moving back to New York, where Theory has transferred me to still work for wholesale, but to do international markets. So Asia, Middle East, Latin America. So even in the middle of a pandemic, they have, they're going to move me back. And so, I feel like all the experiences started from Seton Hall. One thing has led to another, and it's making full circle. And hopefully soon I'll be able to come visit in person.
Thank you very much, Michael. I'll count on that. Come in and visit us. That would be wonderful. That would be really wonderful. Thank you.
I got to call you back. I have to call you back.
For sharing this. I'm going to introduce now our next speaker, our next alumni, and I'm doing in alphabetical order. And Anthony DiFlorio, another star among our graduated students. He also graduated in the School of Diplomacies in 2016, though, 3 years after Michael. And he had a minor in Italian studies. One summer, he has spent the full summer in a nonprofit in Rome and working with migrants. And there too, I think, Anthony, you honed your Roman dialect while you were there, living in this outskirt of the city and still coming downtown to see us what we have in the summer program in Rome. He then moved to DC, where I did a master's in journalism and digital storytelling at the American University. And now he works as a digital communication coordinator for the Jesuit Refugee Service USA. And I understand they also have an office in Rome. But tell us more, Anthony, about yourself and your experience. And here you go. I'm turning everybody turns the microphone, please.
Well, thank you, Gabriela. Thank you, everyone, for having me tonight. It's really nice to see so many familiar faces, Dr. Connell, the number of classes we had together, Gabriella, other students. Michael, I actually went to see at the expo in 2015. We overlapped during that summer. So it's a really small world. It's a really tight-knit kind of community. And it's something that when I entered into CNO, I had no idea existed. I loved Italian. I'd studied it. It's my background from my family, and also studied it in high school. But I had no idea both the resources from the Lamotta school, as well as just like the breadth and the depth of opportunities through the Institute. So I guess I'll kind of pull on a couple key experiences that were really important to me. But going first and foremost to all of the Alberto Institute events was really, really important. And I didn't realize, but I really enjoyed every single one of them. There's a couple that stick out to me. We read a lot of literature with Dr. Romani. Carmine Abate was first and foremost like one of my favorite speakers, an incredible novelist. But as somebody who was very interested in journalism at that time and combining the two of Italian and journalism, there was a British journalist, John Foote, who wrote a book on calcio, on soccer. And I remember reading that book and thinking about storytelling and thinking about journalism. And I got a lot of, my wheels turning on how could I combine these things. But at the same time, I had a lot of interest in migration and refugee work. And so the scholarship that Dr. Romani alluded to is something that she put on my radar in the beginning. I think she may have written one of my scholarship essays or one of the recommendations. And it turned out to be an incredible summer. We spent, all summer with these boys from all over, from Egypt, from Syria, from Bangladesh, who had come over, not by their own accord, but to make money for their families and send it back. And so working with migrants, being on the ground with them, understanding their stories, still keeping in touch with them was all due to the Italian Studies Institute. So I can't thank you all enough for that. And I really think that it's important to try to connect some of the dots too. Like Italian was a thread through all of this. But I think where I've landed now, which after going through a journalism program, after working for a newspaper in DC, and now landing back and working with refugees and doing storytelling, you see how important Italy is as a country that is both harboring migrants, but also attempting to set an example on how they should be integrated into countries and given opportunities. And I think it's really important. So from a personal perspective, the Italian Studies Institute was able to support me in that endeavor. So again, I'm not sure I could go on and on, but it was a great time. I regret nothing about the choice to study Italian. No matter if people say there's another language that's more valuable, just dive in, throw yourself into it, and it will give you so much, in return.
Thank you, Anthony. You really are the best ambassadors for us. But also it's a legacy of how much you put into the studies and how much you were able to get out of your own determination. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce Angela Dinardo, who graduated the same year as Anthony in 2016 with a major in Italian. You say, what are you going to do with a major in Italian? And that's, well, we'll see what Angela has to tell us. But what I can tell you is that apparently she got her dream job with that major in Italian, since she now works in New York City for the as a food and wine market analyst for the Italian Trade Agency, which is the Italian government agency that entrusted with the mission of promoting trade between the U.S. and Italy. Angela, tell us more about it. Tell us more about your job, your dream job.
Allora, thank you, Dr. Romani, and all of you for having me here tonight. As Michael and Anthony said, I think Seton Hall laid the foundation for me. It just kind of built up my love and passion for Italy that much more. And thanks to professors like you and the community around us and the Alberto Institute, who presented the great opportunities that I needed and the right resources to kind of get me where I am today. A lot of people say, what can you do with a focus in Italian? I knew it was just always something that I wanted to do, and I started with the Italian Chamber of Commerce as an intern right after graduation. From there, I went to Barabino and Partners, which is the #1 PR firm in Italy that's here in New York, and which all finally led me to, my dream job with the Italian Trade Agency, promoting the wonders of food and wine. And as we all know, there's so much that they have to offer. So we promote that here in New York with events and different things. And as you were saying, the internalization and things and the study abroad programs, once things are all back to normal, is definitely something to take advantage of. I did a study abroad at John Cabot in Rome. So take advantage when things are back up and running, and yeah.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Anthony. You are models for us. And, nothing matters as much as you say to our students. I'm sure they need to hear. I can tell them, there are so many opportunities, but when they hear it from you, that I'm sure it makes more sense to them. But let's see. Let's go now to the next part of this event, and I'm gonna pass the microphone to Joe Guasconi, who is the senior in gift planning in our department and in our university, and a wonderful, wonderful member of our Italian team here at Seton Hall, who will introduce the students who have been awarded, introduce our wonderful donors who are here today as well, and their generosity, and let's hear Joe.
Mille grazie, Gabriella. So it's my pleasure to be able to acknowledge both the benefactors who make these scholarship awards possible, as well as honor those students who've been selected to receive, as Gabriella pointed out, the 12, and Dr. Passerini pointed out, the 12 scholarships that we will be awarding this evening. As Dr. Passerini also noted, there were some scholarships that we were unable to award this year for a number of different reasons. The Vecchio Scholarship, which one of our benefactors, Frank Canada, had been so instrumental in supporting, we were not able to award. There were also a couple of individuals and organizations who in the past have been important supporters of the university and particularly the Italian Studies program, such as the Columbian Foundation and UNICO. Both of those organizations have been with the Italian Studies program at Seton Hall from the start. And without their support, we would have a much, much less robust program than the one that we currently enjoy. But there are a number of scholarships that we are awarding this evening. And let me begin with and I should point out that certificates documenting each student's receipt of their scholarships will be sent to each student. And what I think we're going to do this evening, Gabriella, is as I announce each student, they'll have an opportunity to say some brief remarks to acknowledge the generosity of the benefactor. So, but I don't know, given this gallery of individuals that's facing me on my screen right now, whether every student, perhaps because they're attending another class or because of travel or even job requirements, may not be on this broadcast. But let's find out. Okay, so the first two awards being given are the Joseph and Geraldine Lamotta scholarships. These are really going to two of the top academic students in the Italian Studies program. And the first scholarship that is being awarded is to a resident of, she hails from Livingston, New Jersey. She is a finance major, currently carrying a 4.0 GPA. Lucien Gesualdo. Lucien, are you with us this evening? Okay, we'll move on. If you are, and I cut you off too quickly, just unmute yourself and let us know that you're here. Okay, the second Joseph and Geraldine Lamotta scholarship is to a resident of North Plainfield, New Jersey, Matteo Almeida. Mateo is a criminal justice major, currently with a GPA of 3.8. Mateo, are you with us this evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mateo, why don't you say a few words?
First and foremost, I would like to thank the generosity of the donors. I was really excited when you proud to have received the scholarship. I actually just wished my
Matteo, can I suggest, I see you're on double on your phone and your computer, and your voice is not coming through. I cannot hear you. We cannot hear you very well. If you can turn off your phone, if you're connected. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
With that helpful bit of advice, we may have lost Matteo, but we'll let's see. It
Yeah,
could be
well,
that one was
we'll
connected
rescue
to the other.
Matteo. Why don't you go ahead?
We'll rescue Matteo, but here he comes. Okay, Matteo.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I had two windows open by accident. So what I was saying, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the generosity of the donors. I was really excited and really proud to be the recipient of the scholarship. I actually just changed my major to political science because for the time being, I think I would like to pursue a career in law after graduation. Yeah, I currently reside in North Plainfield. I actually just moved this weekend, but I'm still in North Plainfield. And Seton Hall was actually I applied to 4 schools: TC&J, Seton Hall, St. John's, and Fordham. And Seton Hall was actually at the bottom of my list. But now, 3 years later, now that I'm a junior, I couldn't imagine going anywhere else other than Seton Hall. Like Michael was saying, his experience with Professor Gabriella and his first year of taking Italian, how she took an interest in him. I had a similar experience with my professor Italian, Professor Benefactors, and how in my first week a year ago, he just took interest in me. And that's really shaped how I've been involved in the Italian Studies program, and I'm excited to continue in it.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Matteo.
Yes, sir.
The next award that I would like to extend is the Endowed Robert J. Tart Family Scholarship Award. Bob is such an important benefactor, not only to the Italian Studies program, but also to the university at large. He also sits on our President's Advisory Group as part of the College of Arts and Sciences. And through his work, both personally and with UNICO, we couldn't be more grateful, Bob, for all the support you provide to our students. This year's Robert Tart Family Award Scholarship winner goes to Martin Todrus. Martin is pursuing a dual degree, both in which is an unusual 3-3 degree through our School of Diplomacy and International Relations, as well as our School of Law. And he has a GPA of 3.7 and hails from Staten Island. Martin, are you with us this evening? You are.
Yes, how are you?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank the benefactors. Thank you so much for your support and for your funding. Yeah, Italian, when I first graduated high school, I mean, I've always wanted to be a lawyer, so Italian was almost never on my radar. And then I took a vested interest because it was a requirement, and then I actually really enjoyed taking Italian year by year. I mean, it gets a little challenging, I guess, every other, every class, but it's definitely something worthwhile. Studying Italian and Italian studies they maintain to be an interest, and I think with the dual degree, I will definitely be able to utilize Italian in my future. Wherever I may go, I'm not sure exactly what kind of law I want to do, but it might be international law. So, knowing languages and cultures and experiencing that is really helpful to me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Martin. The next 2 scholarship awards are actually presented to students through the Charles and Joan Alberto Endowed Scholarships. And Charlie and Joan, both wonderful philanthropists, were eager to ensure that their money was used to really help students who needed the funds and who were outstanding students. And so these students were selected by Dr. McLeod, our head of enrollment. And both deserve wonderful recognition because of the outstanding students that each of them are. The first is awarded to Caitlin Allison. Kate is a biology major who's pursuing a degree in physical therapy through the School of Health and Medical Sciences. Kate, if you'd like to say a word or two, that'd be wonderful.
Hi. I just wanted to say thank you so much to the Benefactors. Honestly, when I got the email, I was like, what? Like, Italian studies? Like, I'm in medical, like, in the medical field. I was so confused. But it really came at, like, honestly, couldn't have been a better time. I can't even express how grateful I am and how much it helped me this semester.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate. And the second Alberto Institute Scholarship Award goes to Tierra Boyd. Tierra is in the Arts and Sciences, College of Arts and Sciences, majoring in pre-law. Tierra, are you with us this evening? Okay, so now we'll move on to the next award. And actually, there's a series of awards that are being offered tonight through the Paragano Endowed Scholarship. Bill and I had the good fortune of knowing the elder statesman, Nazario Paragano, and who is well known for his philanthropy and his support of a variety of Italian-American organizations. His legacy continues through the generosity of the Paragano Foundation. He and his wife, Eileen, continue to support through the foundation as generally. And we have the good fortune of having Naz Paragano, Larry's son, Larry's grandson actually, serving as on our, like Bob Tart serves and Frank Canada serve also on our Alberto Advisory Council as full-time members of that. So we have 5 Paragano scholarships that we are awarding this evening. The first award goes to Casey Wright. Casey is originally from Chula Vista, California, a student in the School of Diplomacy and International Relations with a GPA of 3.5. Casey, please say a few words.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you to all of the donors and benefactors. I've been studying Italian since high school, and it really is something that I'm really passionate about. I just added Italian as my secondary major, so that's really exciting for me, and I really do appreciate everything, and this just helps me further my education and studies in Italian. So thank you.
Thank you, Casey. The second award goes to Isabella Nicosia. Isabella hails from Totowa, is a business major, minoring in Italian, and she has a 3.9 GPA. Isabella.
Hello, thank you so much for awarding me the scholarship. Like he said, I'm planning on minoring in Italian, and thank you for considering me and awarding it to me, and I'm excited to continue learning Italian.
Thank you. The third award goes to Kristen McGuire. Kristen hails from Flemington and is a dual major in diplomacy and philosophy, and currently has a 4. And I'm not sure how we do this, Dr. Passerini, but she currently has a 4.1 GPA. So Kristen, are you with us this evening?
Yes, I am. Hello. First off, I would like to thank everyone for their generosity. I'm actually a freshman right now, so I started studying Italian in high school. That's where the GPA comes from. I don't have a college GPA yet, but I am a diplomacy major, and so Italian and just language in general is a very important part. And I'm excited. I'm not sure what I want to do professionally yet, but I know that the skills and the knowledge of different cultures, is going to help me a lot. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. That helps explain why kids were getting 4.1s, doesn't it, Dr. Passerini? My bad. We'll make sure that doesn't happen again. On the next award for the Paragano Scholarship goes to someone who hails from Wayne, New Jersey, Shauna Ciso. Shauna is majoring in the fine arts track, majoring in art and design, minoring in graphic design and advertising, and carrying a 3.8 GPA. Shauna.
Hi, I just want to thank you to all the donors. I never thought that I'd study Italian professionally, but I am hoping to add this to a minor and continue for all of college. So thank you for everything.
Wonderful. And the final Paragano award also goes to a freshman from Morristown, Ryan Falkowski, who's in the College of Arts and Sciences and hoping to major in psychology. Ryan, are you with us this evening?
I am, thank you. I just want to thank everybody for this opportunity. With a psychology major, I never thought that Italian would have such a significant part in my college career, but I've been studying Italian for roughly 7 or 8 years now, and I'm hoping to continue it, so thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ryan. We have 2 more scholarships to award this evening. The first honors the memory of Angelo Roncati, and his close friend, Michael Catino, is on tonight's call. Angelo is a distinctive man who's passed away sadly now almost 6 years ago. A real student, a real fan of the arts and culture, and we miss him dearly. And the award, the scholarship award, the Roncati Scholarship, is being awarded to Isabel Santiago Vega. Hails originally from Marietta, Pennsylvania, and is pursuing a degree in diplomacy and international relations and carrying a GPA of 3.9. Isabella, please say a few words.
Thank you so much. I just want to start with saying thank you to the donors and the benefactors. And I would also like to reiterate the sentiments of the alumna. Just the support that I've received from the department. I originally came to Seton Hall and I took Italian because I couldn't fit a Spanish class into my schedule. I'm a heritage speaker. So actually Dr. Romani really pushed me to pursue Italian. So without that support, I wouldn't be here today. So I would just like to say thank you, and that we have a wonderful department and I can't wait to continue my journey through it.
Terrific, Isabel. Thank you. And the final scholarship we're awarding this evening honors the memory of another kind of classic individual, remarkable man, former member of our Alberto Italian Advisory Council as well, Martin Pisillo. Marty was just a remarkable person, both in terms of what he did for Unico and his support for Seton Hall. And through him, you know, our Italian Studies program is so much better for it. The scholarship was really funded in part with some generous support from the Pisillo family, and also spearheaded by Frank Cannata and Charlie Alberto. This year's recipient of the Martin Pisillo Endowed Scholarship hails from Matawan, New Jersey, and is awarded to Frederick Leo. Frederick is majoring in philosophy and Italian and minoring in graphic design and carrying a GPA of 3.9. Frederick, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much to the donors, to everyone in general for this. It means so much to me, and I'm very grateful of it. My passion of Italian really started in middle school, actually. We were given the choice to choose either an elective or language, and I know I'm not good at like wood shop or anything like that. So I just went with the Italian. There's some Italian in my family, and I kind of just rolled with it, and it's been working for me ever since. And in fact, I'm even considering teaching Italian.
Terrific, Frederick. Well, we wish you well, and I know that there are several professors on the phone here who want to encourage your continued study of Italian. So, well, I think we can all be inspired by Michael's and Anthony's and Angela's experience, and they've set a wonderful role models for all of our scholarship award winners to follow. So once again, there's so many other people who we'd like to recognize. We have Daria Calori, who has supported us generously in the past, the widow of Dr. Ennio Calori, so many different Unico chapters that have supported us. And we thank you for your support. And without your help, Gabriella and Bill would never be able to execute the kinds of wonderful programs that they do. And we wouldn't be able to offer the scholarships to such terrific students. And in case you didn't notice, I think the lowest GPA of any student tonight who received an award was 3.5, which speaks volumes to the quality of the students pursuing Italian studies at Seton Hall. So, Gabriella, I turn it back to you.
Yes, okay. I'm quite impressed that we actually fit everything in an hour, as that was our initial goal. Just a couple of things to wrap it up. I first of all, congratulations to all our students to keep studying Italian, but most of all, keep enjoying studying Italian. It's pleasurable, it gives you opportunities, follow your passions in life, and you're not gonna get it wrong. That's my message I always say to you. I also wanted to say something that didn't come out. Rancatti's Endowed Scholarship we use part of it for scholarship and part of for our musical events, and that's really important to us. He was passionate about Italian and Italian music, and we'd like to honor his memory for that. I think Michael Catino is also with us. I want to acknowledge that, who has started an Endowed Scholarship, and thank you very much, Michael, for that. Thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Thanks those who help us make it possible to have this community of Italian studies. I hope to see you to our next events in October and November. And most of all, I hope next year we'll be able to do it in person. But I think this is pretty good as well. So thank you. Have a wonderful night. Be healthy, be well, and speak Italian as much as you can, okay? And ciao a tutti. Arrivederci.
Ciao.
Arrivederci. Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Ciao, grazie.
Ciao, grazie.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao.